Hello again, this is the 13th of March 2025 and this is maybe to some extent a naughty thoughty, I don't know. I'm going to be talking about my Facebook diet and my children's YouTube diet today. It's kind of an experiment I'm doing. Began 2 days ago. I'm going to run until the 11th of April. Which sounds like kind of very randomly selected dates, but the 11th of March was when I had this idea. The 11th of April is a family birthday, so it means something to me. Anyway, what happened was I thought me and my kids were spending too much time on brain rot, if you like. I believe that's what the kids call it these days. Just doing a bit of rubbish online, wasting time online. So I'll talk about what the last 2 days, the last 2 days have been like, without Facebook for me, without YouTube for my kids. And at the end of the month, on or soon after the 11th of April, I'll talk about what it's been like for the whole month, if anything has changed, and I'll put a description in the, I'll put a link in the description. That's what I'll be doing. Anyway, my children have their own tablets. They are 7 and 3, and they have their own tablets. This was not my choice. Their dad gave them the tablets. He gave one to our son when he was 3, I think, and then he got one for our daughter when she was 2. I thought that was a bit of a silly idea myself. I didn't see why they needed such things. What are they going to be searching Google for? What articles are they going to be reading at that sort of age? Of course, it was mostly YouTube they were looking at. I thought, okay, there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube. We can sort of be showing them cartoons and things. We don't have a TV licence in our house, so YouTube is how we get our entertainment, really. I thought, oh, okay, we'll give it a go. Obviously, their dad is their parent as much as I am. He's perfectly within his rights to buy them things. But it turned out that, however much I tried to coax the algorithm into giving them informative, age-appropriate, material, with some artistic merit and so on, they just end up watching absolute rubbish. And I've tried things like, limiting the time they're allowed to watch their YouTube. I tried limiting it to an hour for our daughter and 2 hours for my son. But it's just so hard to monitor, when I wake up in the morning and they're just sat in the beds watching cartoons. How long's that been going on for? Or if they start watching a film, you can't switch it off halfway through. And then you fall into the trap of thinking, I'll just leave them at it for half an hour or so while I do my cooking or things. And I know my husband wasn't particularly on board with the, setting the limits. So, and I don't know if he's, going to keep that up while I'm at work or, while I'm taking one of them out to something. And again, I've tried explaining, our daughter needs something a bit more stimulating than just, the alphabet over and over again. She knows the alphabet. She knows how to count. She knows all the colours and shapes and things. she doesn't need to learn them all over again, but in an American accent, you know. But he'll just sort of keep putting the same thing in front of her and say, oh, it's relaxing for her. I think, well, she's 3, you know. She needs to be able to learn how to relax without having some rubbish put in front of her. And as I say, I've tried to coax the algorithm into you know, giving her, you know, actual TV programmes and things that are sort of starting to teach her to read and add up. Not just say the alphabet and count, but every time I look at what she's watching, it's things for babies. And, you know, my son as well, I'll say to him, oh, why don't you watch some, you know, some of those horrible history songs and things that he likes. You know, he'll sit and watch the horrible history songs for a bit. But then I look again and he's watching some dude bros yelling at each other about Minecraft. And it's a waste of a life, you know. It's not what I envisaged when I decided I wanted children. So I decided, right, we're just going to take the tablets away. I thought, shall I consult my husband with this? I thought, well, they didn't consult me before he bought the damn things. They're going away. And I expected resistance, you know, because when I try and prise them out of the hands to get them washed and dressed in the morning, you know, there's a lot of whining going on. I mean, this is another reason I thought we ought to get rid of them. I just cannot stand the amount of whining that goes on when I say, right, it's time to switch them off. Come on, it's dinner time. Put your cartoons off. But, you know, I said to my son, right, I was thinking why don't we put those tablets away for a while and see what life's like with that? And he just said, yeah, that's fine. And then immediately after that, he found a cardboard box and cut it into a little knight's helmet and started having sword fights with his sister. That is exactly what I wanted to happen. Now, he's doing some sort of craft work, making things, he's being imaginative, he's interacting with his little sister positively. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted him to be doing. Yeah, I think as a home educator as well, it's sort of important for me to feel that they are, you know, doing something positive with their time and not just sitting watching crap. So that, you know, it was a good start, and we spent yesterday. We did puzzle books, we did jigsaw, we did playing out in the garden. Did some sort of maths work with my son as well. And, you know, we had a great time. And today, well, we had an organised activity today. We're going out doing, so we do a social group with our home ed friends. And so we wouldn't have been on the tablets this afternoon anyway. But yeah, the morning went well, the evening went well. You know, my son went out playing with his friend from down the street, and my daughter's been, you know, wanting stories, wanting me to sort of play games with her on the floor and things. And it's been good. It's been positive so far. And I don't think my husband is really 100% on board with it, but he hasn't argued as such. He has been sort of sneaking his phone in front of our daughter when she's been tired. I mean, that it doesn't. It's kind of a bit frustrating that, you know, he's not really helping. As I say, I didn't consult him about it. And the thing with giving your child your phone is, sooner or later you're going to want the phone back. You know, it's a limited loan. So it's not as bad as having, you know, their own tablet. I mean, they weren't necessarily exhibiting symptoms of too much screen time. You know, they kind of disturbed sleep and being hyperactive and things. But I can see the habits forming, and I don't want it to get worse. I don't want it to get to the point that, you know, it is starting to cause problems. And I don't want myself to get into the habit of just letting them watch whatever they want all the time while I'm trying to get on with my housework and things. That's, as I say, that is not what I had in mind when I decided I wanted children. And I myself, in solidarity, I decided I wasn't just going to impose my will on them. I'd also give up something myself, and so I've decided to stop using Facebook. I mean, I have been a heavy user for, 17 years, I think, since everyone left MySpace en masse. I did actually prefer MySpace, to be honest, because, you know, you can jazz up your profile on MySpace. You could, you know, I had like a starry sky background and more little stars falling down from the top, and it played the Incredible String Band when you clicked my profile and everything. But you could actually write something about yourself, you know, so people could actually, you know, get to know you beyond roughly where you live and whether or not you're married and so on. But I had to make the move to Facebook because obviously everyone else did. There was no point sitting on MySpace on my own. I think Facebook gets a lot of stick. I'm not going to be really negative about it. I think it gets a lot of unfair criticism because, you know, people are doing the wrong things on it. You know, if you know a lot of really boring people in real life and you follow a lot of really boring groups, then you will find Facebook boring. But obviously I communicate with people who I actually want to talk to on Facebook, and I join groups about things that I'm interested in, and so I find it an interesting place. But I do find I'm spending a lot more time on there than is really reasonable, and I find myself prioritising it over things that, you know, I shouldn't be prioritising it over. Like, sometimes I'll be, you know, reading my comments and my children will be wanting to talk to me and play with me, and I'm just saying, oh, just wait a minute, Mummy's busy. And I'm not busy. I'm not busy at all. And again, that's another habit I want to get out of. And again, it's a go-to. You know, as in the same way that my children have been falling into just whenever they're bored, you know, they don't pick up a game or a puzzle or anything like that. They look at their tablets at YouTube. I find whenever I've got a spare minute, I start looking at Facebook, and sometimes that spare minute turns into half an hour. Or if I haven't got anything pressing to be getting on with, it can be even longer than that. It can be an hour, it can be 2 hours. Sometimes I put my kids to bed and think, oh, I'll just have a little look at Facebook, and I'll be sitting there 2-3 hours, and it's midnight. It's getting into, you know, the early hours of the morning, and I'm still just, you know, reading silly memes and checking how many likes I've got on my last post, and it's the same thing. It's not the life I want to be living. And it occurred to me when I decided, right, I'm just not going to look at Facebook. I didn't delete it from my phone. I just took the icon and moved it into, you know, a few pages down my apps, so that it wasn't immediately there as soon as I switched my phone on. Where was I? Yeah, I think I've sort of lost my train of thought now. It's one of those things that the more you use it, the more you feel you need to use it. You know, you get involved in these little Facebook communities, you know, the active groups where there's, you know, very involved conversations going on, and you get a group of contacts that, you know, you interact with a lot, and they expect you to be there. You want to hear from them. You don't want to miss out on, you know, any news they've got or anything like that. It's we used to use things like chat rooms and forums and things, and they've sort of fallen out of favour, I think, as social media generally has become more and more the dominant force of the internet. Because social media is immediate, and the idea that you can post something and anyone who's interested can look at it and respond to it. And I mean, you don't even have to think of something meaningful to say about it. You can just click like, and you've communicated that, you know, you've seen that, you're interested in it. And I think this is probably the first time since I first discovered chat rooms and forums, when I was about 12. No, why am I saying about 12? I was 12 when I became an internet user. That I've conducted my social life primarily offline. I mean, I'm still using, you know, Messenger and texts and things, but, you know, to actually sit and have conversations with people, it, you know, it's several times a day I'll sit and have an interaction with someone on Facebook. But not necessarily in real life. In fact, I'm just trying to think when, you know, what I actually used to do when I was younger, how I got into the idea of online conversations. I think when I started off on chat rooms, and then chat rooms were very much just a group of strangers talking rubbish at each other. And then the forum sort of came into, well, it certainly came into my consciousness. I don't know if it had existed long before, when you'd post something and then someone would respond to it, and then you get that sort of back and forth interaction. So I did really enjoy the forums, but as I say, they kind of died a death when social media came to the fore. I have occasionally gone back to some of the forums I used to use just to see if anyone's still around, and they're very, very quiet. Some of them haven't posted for years. Because everyone communicates on Facebook now, or similar. I do know a couple of people recently, actually, who've left Facebook just in protest of Mark Zuckerberg's involvement with Donald Trump. It's fair enough. but I feel like it is so much, you know, the social centre of the universe. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to actually stop using it altogether. I mean, once you're involved with it, obviously. I mean, there's people who've just sort of never been bothered about it, or who, you know, tried it for a bit and never got into it. But yeah, it's one of those that the more you use it, the more it becomes a part of your life, and becomes more difficult to get rid of. So yeah, how have I found not having Facebook? I mean, the thing is, I am feeling that I'm probably missing out on something. You know, like you know, all my Facebook friends are probably having little chats about stuff that I'm not party to. You know, maybe they've seen some really funny memes and things that I'm not going to see. Put like that, it sounds like I'm not really missing very much. But I am surprised how many hours there are in a day. My average day would go, get up, check Facebook, see if I had any messages, see who's responded to my last posts, then get up, get washed and dressed, have my breakfast, have another little look at Facebook, you know, and it's between, just punctuate my day with looks through Facebook. And as I say, it can become quite time consuming. You know, if there's quite a lot going on, if quite a lot of people have posted stuff, I might be there half an hour, an hour. And I remember yesterday, I got up, I reached my phone, I thought, oh no, I'm not going to look at Facebook. So I switched it on. I'd had one message from the Home Ed group confirming we were meeting up later. And that was it. I thought, what am I going to do? what am I going to do with this phone? I sort of looked at the weather forecast and checked my bank balance. Right, yeah. That's it then. That's my phone checked. So I got up, got the kids washed and dressed, and we all had breakfast and did a bit of housework, and then I thought, oh, well, what time is it? It's 9:30. I thought, 9:30, wow. I'll have a look at my phone. Oh yeah, I'm not looking at Facebook, am I? I'll just have a look at the news. All right, yeah. Hmm, 9:30. Yeah, it was. I was shocked actually how much time I have been frittering away on Facebook, and it's made me consider what I actually do when I'm using Facebook. What am I actually interested in? What am I missing? You know, what do I actually feel like I want to look at it for? Well, this morning there was a new Foil Arms and Hog video, and there's a little fan club that sort of talk about the video afterwards. I sort of felt like, you know, I'd like to see what they were saying about it. There's a few of them that I've got as friends, so I sent them a message and say, you know, was anything unmissable going on in the comments, and you know, nobody had anything really to tell me about. So, all right, okay. And there's one of my friends, he's actually someone I met online years and years ago in a forum, who every year he does a tournament. There's some sort of vague category. This year it's fictitious cats. So he's had people nominating cats from cartoons and stories that we can vote on, see which is the favourite. You know, what's your favourite fictitious cat? One year it was pirates, one year it was ghosts and things like that. So I'm sort of thinking, I'd like to sort of be involved in the tournament. I mean, it'll be going on for a few months. I won't miss all of it. But yeah, I'd like to sort of see how that's coming on. But other than that, I'm not really missing any of the groups I'm involved with. There aren't any individual people that I'm sort of desperate to catch up with that I can't just reach on Messenger or anything. Yeah, I'm finding it quite hard to justify to myself why I've spent, the last, shall we say, 17 years, maybe 18 years, looking at Facebook every day. It's entertainment, I suppose. I do find myself, scrolling down and reading the same things over and over again. And a lot of it's irrelevant, a lot of it's sort of news from America and things about famous people that I don't know who they are. And there's a lot of groups that, start off as, sharing funny jokes. And then they, some transphobes or anti-vaxxers or someone start taking over the comments and it all just goes downhill. And it's very difficult to actually say what I really enjoyed so much about it that I'd spend, half my life looking at it every day. I think after a month, maybe I'll feel differently. Maybe there will be things that I'm missing, that I feel I'm missing out on. And my plan at the moment is, I'll go through all my groups and I'll delete anything that I was glad to be rid of or that I haven't thought of. I'll just narrow it down to, the ones that I genuinely enjoy and have been looking forward to catching up with. I'll probably go through my contacts list as well and delete anybody who's, I haven't thought about or I haven't been missing or have been sort of, not been particularly interesting catching up with for a month. What do you do about dead people on Facebook? There's a few people on my Facebook list who are dead now. Can you delete people who've died, or is it like really disrespectful? I don't know what do you do about that? And phone numbers. What do you do about their phone number? Like I've only had this particular phone for 4 years, so there's nobody on my contact list who is actually dead now. But my old phone that's sort of up in the attic just in case I ever need it. I mean, there's loads of dead people on there. I had that phone for 16 years. There's a lot of dead people on my contacts list. Sorry, that took a dark turn. That took a really dark turn. No. Yeah, what? If anybody knows what to do about, having dead people on Facebook or on your phone, just let me know. I'll just leave them there. Yeah. I will update when we come to the end of the experiment, and as I say, I'll put the link in the description. And yes, well, I'll see you then, if not before.